Hello everyone and welcome back to the Brightworks, where I'm bringing you in a little bit early today because this match needs a little bit of an explanation here. So I'm going to go ahead and pull up the descriptor, as this one was sent over on the Brightworks Discord channel in the replays tab, and read to you what I have here on my docket. 4x movement speed to start out with, so that's great. Everything's going to be running around a whole lot quicker. The Legion faction has been enabled, so Legion commanders can be found across the battlefield 2 times the metal and spawn everywhere. So that's the one that really ticks my box. I'm trying to figure out exactly what that means, and apparently it means exactly what it says on the tin. Any commander is capable of spawning anywhere on the entire map here. Yeah, this should be pretty interesting. So I'll go ahead and hit the skip button as we watch these commanders drop in right now, and we'll get into this match. This is going to be a bloody mess already. Here we go. Green and red commander battling it out over on this island. I have a feeling we're going to watch a lot of commanders kill each other right here, right at the start of this game. Suicidal Carrot and Kenny already holding the middle island right now. Oh, okay, yeah, 4x movement speed, so these commanders... Look at him ice skating around, moving at supersonic speeds right here. Clumsy Bandit and Try both walking around over here. Maybe you could get a triple comm kill if we sacrifice one of the commanders and moved him in over here. Suffice it to say, this is going to be a bizarre match, so hold on to your seats because it's probably going to be a quick one too. Go ahead and clear the map right here, so at the very least we can preserve what little legibility will exist still in this game. We're building a hovercraft lab in between 2 metal extractors right here. Going to be awfully difficult for those hovercraft to get out of that lab, so that'll be interesting to see whether that works out here. Double metal means it's going to be pretty easy to get up to a substantial economy here. I'm just double checking my notes. Yeah, double metal from all these metal extractors, so we should be saying 4. Yes, 4 metal coming out from each and every one of these. Should any team be able to, for instance, get a T2 lab up, yeah, we'd have quite a nice time, at the very least, pumping units out and getting a whole bunch of units up in the air. Also worth noting, though, that this 4x movement speed is going to make things a lot more powerful. For instance, something like those early hovercraft scouts, the Seekers or the Goons, either of those, going to be pretty powerful here, as they're going to be moving at supersonic speed. Tricker James, the brown player here, working in tandem with Panini Pie, a red team leader. Both of which trying desperately to get some build power up and running. Cobbled together an economy here. Suicidal Carrot apparently de-gunning down the laboratory over here. Yeah, I mean, you can just go for these run-bys, right? No reason not to. Commander's moving this quickly. There's not exactly a reason not to go for a run-by right here. So yeah, Suicidal Carrot just flanking with the commander, running by, D-guns down the laboratory over here. Panini Pie now going to engage with the Cortex commander. They're going to be fighting each other back and forth. Are we going to accept the duel here? Duel of the fates, so to speak. Panini Pie going to self-D the commander, trying to remove that commander power from the blue team there, and I guess it'll go through. Going to be Panini Pie and Suicidal Carrot also, you know, trading out right there. Here we go. Commander's traded over on the bottom half here as well. Yeah, this is quite a mess. So I know this is quite different from the usual stuff that we cover here, but I figured it would be a pretty interesting random game to cover here. Sometimes we do fun stuff like this on the streams as well, so if you're interested in this sort of shenanigans, feel free to go tune in over there on Tuesdays and Saturdays, 12 PDT. Just hop on into the bar servers, look for the one with my name in it, and you should be able to join right on up. Gunships causing terror across the islands over here. 4x movement speed means those things are actually really quick. Yeah, okay. You know what? They actually move extremely quick with that 4x movement speed turned on. I mean, everything does, but especially those gunships, which are otherwise relatively slow. Surprised we're not seeing more commander shenanigans here. Yeah, I feel like going for more of those D-guns and just running around causing absolute mayhem all over the place. Certainly not a bad idea here. Red Commander Panini Pie trying desperately to rebuild on the back of this here. We have metal storage coming up here, I guess, to preserve whatever metal is reclaimed and produced here, rather than sending it away. Trying to build more build power here as well. Doesn't look like build power has been turned up, so despite the units moving 4 times faster, we're not producing 4 times as many units. Just because of the fact that we're not able to, right? You still need the build power, and you still need to actually get the units out on the field here. The only island that appears to have functioned somewhat normally right here appears to be this southern one, where some of the blue players reside here. Looks like G. Malloy, or Gmaloy, as well as Rakan Sox, both managed to actually get some sort of an economy up and running here. Thugs and aggravators. It feels like aggravators make a whole lot of sense here because they can just they can move and then fire and then retreat as quick as they need to. Makes them extremely powerful. Thugs are gonna have to readjust their cannons. Yeah, I think rocket bots make a whole lot of sense here. Either way, though, these units are going to be super powered. Just, I mean, look how fast they're all moving right now. My goodness. These medium tanks now in the back line. Janus is also going to be very super powered, just because, of course, they have heat-seeking missiles, so they can just fire and forget. They don't really have to worry about aiming all too much. That being said, with 4x movement speed, it's also a lot easier to dodge those Janus missiles. You don't have 4x the range with the Janus missiles, at least as long as the range stat isn't actually turned up right now. T2 Lab is up and running for Panini Pie. Maybe we'll be able to leverage that to an advantage. Fiends would move at an absolutely sonic pace. A couple of mosquitoes up in the air, the Legion gunships. Very pesky critters. They fire a weak little missile out of their I don't know, forward-facing snozzles. They've got their little flapping wings too. They're quite adorable. Very difficult to keep track of, especially at 4x movement speed. Here are some more units trying to do a little bit of damage over here, but I think so far this island has been well held. Looks like we're gonna res the commander. I think that makes a lot of sense. Commander's extremely powerful right now with the fact that they can run around and degun things with effectively no repercussion. It's gonna take a commander to shut down a commander. Dr. Disgusting. Holding this island over here. One of the few commanders with a essentially unpunished island economy. Going for a bunch of tidal generators too. Tidal generators not particularly efficient on this map, but you have so much space to build them that you might as well. All right, we've sort of semi-stabilized, about as stable as I think we're probably ever gonna get. Advanced metal extractors cranking out a absolutely beautiful amount of metal right now. 16 metal per AMEX coming up right now. Pumping out a tremendous economy's worth of metal. Gonna be really, really useful for, well, everybody who's trying to get those T2 economies up and running right now. Panini Pie, certainly one of them. I don't think energy's been turned up, though. Oh, there's Gaikon. Finds himself in the middle of a base here, not de-gunning down the LLTs. Oh, no. Looks like Gaikon ran out of APM right there. Loses the commander, doesn't kill the lab right here. It's going to, at the very least, mean that, yeah, the metal goes back to Stannis here. Res subs have been sent on over to eat up the corpse. At the very least, denying a little bit of that metal to the purple commander. Metal not really going to be a tremendous, yeah, tremendous boon here on this map, though. I mean, with what is it? Is it 4x? 2x? Let me double check. 2x. 2x metal. Yeah, you're not really going to be hard-pressed to get your hands on a little bit of metal. Trigger James. Falling prey to the mosquito. Their little missile is not particularly powerful. It's very good at doing big spikes of damage to single targets, but usually static defense is a better target here. But there they go, ravaging almost the entire economy over here. Certainly doing a decent job against that constructor over here and trying to whittle down this advanced metal extractor. They do a lot better when they're all charged up, so oftentimes you want to dip them into combat, let them deploy all their missiles, and then pull them back. Usually seems to work quite good, but with this many of them, I don't think it really matters. Kenye just happy to pump out units and send them across the field here. I say across the field as if this battle isn't bizarrely skewed in many different directions. Roughly speaking, if we look at this from a high perspective, we'll slow the game down so we can take an analytical look at this really quickly. The red team seems to have sort of secured the left-hand side of the map, something like this, whereas the blue now controls most of the middle of the map and then all of the right-hand side. So 3 islands under the red control, 2 islands at the center under the blue control here. Seems to be more or less how things have shaken out. Rascal's getting past all the laser defenses because they're way too slow. It's one of the things is that when you increase the movement speed of units, some units benefit much more heavily than others from, yeah, that movement speed. It means that things like blitzes, rascals, rovers, grunts, pawns, ticks, all that and more are very, very easily going to be able to break through defensive lines just by simply ignoring the hail of bullets that can no longer track them. Oh, and here's some suicide bombers. Oh, those are hilarious with 4x movement speed because they can deploy themselves for miles and miles out. Typically, the way that those are balanced is by the way that they have to get real close before they actually deploy, but at 4x movement speed, they can deploy from miles and miles out. That's pretty funny, actually. That's an interesting little obtrusion of balance right there. Is projectile speed turned down? Oh, I just noticed projectile speed is way turned down. No, never mind. Sorry, I just had it on 0.5x. There we go. Classic Brightworks fashion, producing mistakes live on air and then forgetting about them. Nice deguns right there, catching a whole bunch of those medium tanks. Certainly removes a lot of that problem from the agenda of the red players down here on the southern side. Trying to get a T2 laboratory up and running right here. They have the metal for it, and everybody ought to have the metal for it. Oh, over here, this area has been ravaged, by the way. Looks like, yeah, Commander has made its way over to this side and destroyed everything that was precious to the red commanders here. Hover tanks also contributing significantly. Yeah, it looks like those hover tanks have shut everything down over here. Nicely done by Dr. Disgusting. Love what we're doing with the hovercraft lab. Just pumping out a whole bunch of hover tanks. I think that probably makes a whole lot of sense. We've got some gunships headed on over in this direction, trying to pop the economy here. Going after the energy converters, very nice. Pop up missile turrets here. The Ferret's going to be firing away, trying to take down those gunships. They do, at the end of the day, take down most of those gunships. There we go. Gunships depleted. How do you close out this game? That's a tricky question to solve. I'm not entirely sure. Looked like we finally had some good production right here for the red player. Finally got a T2 lab up before it got completely eaten up and, well, yeah, decimated. I think air is probably going to be a pretty solid idea here. Going for about 400 gunships and sending them across. Never a bad idea, especially against Legion air. Those Legion T1 air can be wanting for more, certainly. Armed transport here with the Gatling gun mounted on its rear, firing away at whatever it can. Not the pinnacle of anti-ground technology, I will say. Certainly does its job against lighter chaff, but gonna struggle quite a lot against basically anything stronger than T1 trash. Here's a load of Janus tanks right here from Galactic Ascension, trying to dip into combat and then retreat back with their lives still intact. Tricky to micro, especially if you have any amount of ping. I imagine it's going to be an explosive contest right here. This is nice though. The destroyers right here from the Orange Commander have wiped out all the metal extractors that the blue team had. Oh, those Janus just ran directly into those tanks right there. Not exactly where they want to be. Those Janus are firing on those tanks and doing a tremendous amount of work right there, but still not exactly an ideal situation for those Janus being right on top of all those medium tanks here. Everybody going up the tech tree, it seems. I don't mind it. I think it's probably the right idea here. More and more hover tanks have been built in the backline here. Actually, we have a whole mixture of tanks. We have the rocket hovercraft, we have the hover tanks, and we have the anti-air hovercraft, so it's a nice little composition that we've got coming up for Dr. Disgusting. Meanwhile, a whole bunch of these ships have actually just made their way over here, and the ships are going to be way, way better against a lot of this Navy here. Or, rather, the ships are going to be a whole lot better against the hovercrafts here. They managed to catch this entire production facility without a guard, and down it goes, just like that. Yeah, those destroyers putting in some good work here. Heavy tanks sent across as well. We've got some torches, the flame tanks being sent across. Heavy tanks making short work of all this, though. Those flame tanks not really contributing all too much to this aggression here. Pretty much just the Tigers sweeping across a tremendous portion of the economy right here for the Cyan player, Dr. Disgusting. Suddenly left with very little to his name. Tidal generators are falling rapidly. Gonna need some more energy production very quickly here. Hover tanks making their way into the backlines. Oh, no defenses whatsoever on the backlines here. Fusion reactor completely exposed. The explosion takes out a tremendous amount of those tanks here, but there's still tons more. Rocket hovers as well up in the air, trying to do their very best. Down goes the other fusion reactor, just as well. Bulwark has been set up here. That'll be tremendous for blasting down all these quad guards as well. Sure, why not? Quad guards can be extremely potent. Very, very nicely done. Czar's coming out right now. Don't mind it whatsoever. Definitely a nice little counterattack right there from the Cyan player, though, weakening the northern side. But I just wonder if there's enough here for the blue team. Doesn't look like it. Kenye causing havoc in the backlines. Is it? No, I'm misreading that. What? Something is causing a tremendous amount of pain over here. I guess it was these Tigers? Yeah, it must have been the Tigers sneaking through. Sorry, very rapid this game. Faster units are amplified even faster, and it's, yeah, it means I'm gonna miss all that much more. But it looks like the Tigers were sent over in this direction here. Now starting to aggress with the torches. Gonna start trying to burn their way through. They're a bit of a cheeky unit. Very, very flimsy, but also very, high damage per second, which makes them quite powerful. Bunch of rovers. I hear a Phoenix. Oh, there it is. Phoenixes are epic. They fire a War of the Worlds-esque laser beam out of their central snozzle. Very good at dispensing aerial justice to yeah, any stationary targets. They're effectively a bomber. They're a weird kind of bomber, but they're effectively a bomber. Excellent for glassing the surface of planets, though, should you need that happen. Very, very excellent at that sort of thing. Advanced fusion reactor coming up right here for the hot pink player. Don't quite have the metal for it, but maybe if we disassemble some of those labs. Don't know if we have that luxury, though. There's a lot of Phoenixes out. Oh, we're actually just gonna drop some incendiary grenades. Incendiary bomb's gonna work pretty good too. Definitely whittling away at a lot of this production. You need more than just one of them in order to take all this out. So there we go. Another volley or two will connect, and that's gonna mean that the build power goes down, and that advanced fusion reactor is doomed. The movement speed on those bombers being improved means they can, yeah, they can be quite a bit more menacing. In fact, virtually every bomber is going to be quite a bit more menacing. The air field is going to be extremely powerful here, with all the bombers being able to deploy their bombs from much further out. Kenye at this point, yeah, trying to just be aggressive up in the opponent's nose, making sure to try and shut down as many of these labs as possible here, running the commander into the center, basically going for a comm bomb. There's a self-destruct. I think this is probably the right move here. Shut off all of these laboratories, shut down all that progression right there. Absolutely brutal. Losing all of it to, yeah, just a single renegade commander sending itself across the map. Obviously, you can't do that all the time. You, after all, do have to keep some commanders alive as a win condition here. The Legion airpad has some interesting ones. They don't have a great anti-navy ship, like a gunship, for instance. They have the Legion Flying Fortress, which is quite expensive. Is almost, I think it's actually a little more expensive than a dragon. A little bit less powerful, though, than the Flame Dragons. But there's not really a primed gunship available for the Legion faction, so when Legion has to deal with unconventional forces pushing towards them, I think typically they would lean towards these armed transports, or maybe just go into torpedo bombers here to specifically counter the Navy. Difficult to say, though. Legion is always a bit of a bit up in the air. It's always a little bit up for contest what exactly the right Legion unit is supposed to do and what it's supposed to be. We do have the extra units enabled, so that does mean we also have the printers enabled. Would love to see some of those produced and sent behind all these czars, making them into a immortal army. Bulletproof, as the Heavy would say. T2 Lab is up and available right now for the Red Commander, who's got himself a couple of energy converters as well, which are cramming out 21 metal per second, which I think is actually doubled. Yeah, that's doubled energy converted as well. That wasn't in my notes, but I recognize that. That's one of the settings that I turn on all the time. Definitely one of my favorites. Hover Constructor in a little bit of trouble here. Seems like a small-scale battle for this late into the game. But yeah, a couple of Hades managed to snipe a little Constructor over there, which is quite nice. Yeah, it feels like we're a little unsure of exactly what we should be going for here. I think, yeah, the red team is just constantly being set back. Both teams really constantly being set back here. You can see the walls have been deployed to make sure those hovercraft don't just come barreling in here to cause devastation. Wonder if a nuclear response wouldn't be the worst idea. I wouldn't mind it, especially with how much metal we can produce off of all these metal extractors. Certainly could be quite potent. T2 Lab is up and running, so that means we can also get these missile ships out and available. Where are they? There they are, the Longbow, the missile cruiser, capable of firing those long-range ballistic missiles. We also have the extra units enabled here as well, so you can go for the Dolphins, which are sort of a long-range light artillery sort of a thing. You can obviously go for an Epoch with double the metal. I'm sure that would be fairly affordable here. You can also go for drone carriers. Those might be interesting to see as well. A lot of interesting options for the naval field. Nice snipe right here. Our blue player, Suicidal Carrot, being very cognizant of the expansions the enemy has taken across the map and being sure to deny all those. Always important. especially with how valuable those metal extractors are, essentially double the value. Makes them quite powerful. Do we have an endgame plan right here for the blue team? Right now, just a whole lot of tech. Just greeting as much as possible, basically. Going for a whole bunch of build power over here. The T2 construction turrets with 600 build power apiece. Equivalent to 3 T1 construction turrets. Looks like a commander went down over here, actually. Nice little snipe. Looks like Gaikon's commander goes down. Very nice. Both teams definitely eager to get their hands on any commanders that they can. You've noticed virtually every commander that's gone down this game has been resurrected here. That's not an accident. Having those commanders is extremely valuable, especially as extremely fast, essentially thermonuclear bombs. Clumsy bandit retreating back to the safety of his friends. Gamaloy 3-3's commander has been trapped in the walls here. Gonna have to eat himself out. Don't clip that. Laboratory over here. Those Hades are underwater, so they can't fire. Oh, Janus missiles do connect from the high ground. Oh, that was just beautiful. Those Janus missiles connected just about as big as they could and blasted all those Hades to smithereens right there. Very nice to see. Seekers being sent across. Maybe not. They're thinking about being sent across, but not quite sent across yet. It's funny, those Hades can actually sort of take advantage of traveling underwater here to get into the back line. Yeah, they can kind of ignore the actual forces sitting on top of the water because they effectively are submersible with this exact water level right here. That's pretty funny. Bit of a weird dynamic right there. Virtually only possible because of the extremely potent movement speed that every single unit has in this match. There we go. Hades, name of the game though. Able to take these shallow straits and use them to their tremendous advantage. Love these, yeah, love all these outer rings that allow for that transportation. That really livens up this game. Usually I don't think those are there. I think there's another version of this map that didn't have these rings on the outside that units could travel along. Ambassadors working on blowing up whatever they can here. They do find a fusion reactor up here, so they're going to be firing away their missiles at that. You can see their ranks going up as they slowly but surely kill it. Galactic Ascension trying to clean up a lot of these Hades over here. Eventually going to, but it comes at the cost of that entire base over there. And we're stabilized. We're starting to stabilize. Loads of build power back here. Would love to see a couple more energy converters, actually. Yeah, it looks like those are queued up. I'm guessing, yeah, this guy's going to build some more energy converters over here. Getting ready for it. With metal income doubled, you might as well build those energy converters. They're extremely efficient. 21 metal per second. Just about as good as a advanced metal extractor. In fact, a little better than an advanced metal extractor. Certainly a little bit more costly to get a advanced fusion reactor up and then 4 of those energy converters to the advanced fusion reactor, but it does mean that you get an overall more powerful economy eventually. Hades trying their best. It's not much, but they're trying their best. Some more of these kamikaze drones. Built and available. Would love to see these sent across the map here. Try and do something. I don't see how anybody's going to deal with the air, though. The air forces are going to be extremely difficult to deal with. Nice little surround. Nice snipe right there. By the Hades, managed to bring down that commander that was lingering over on that island over there. LLT's not going to be enough to stop the onslaught of Hades that Suicidal Carrot has been so keen to produce this game. I have to say, though, the orange players certainly are taking a lead around the map right now. All the naval units moving around back and forth over here certainly seem to be making it imposing for the blue team to continue expanding right here. There is a nice little fortress over on this side as well. Standish trying to build in that location as well as this one, although maybe abandoning this base mostly. Suicidal Carrot upgrading to slightly different form of aggression here, the quick shot. Basically just an upgraded version of the Hades. Fires 3 bullets and does a tremendous amount of damage. Well worth acknowledging that those do a absolutely ridiculous amount of damage. ambassadors here, just dump firing, not exactly firing to whatever targets they acquire. These guys, okay, we're just building pit bulls everywhere. I don't mind it. When you have resources to spare on a map like this, in a situation like this, I don't mind it whatsoever. Going for a whole bunch of fighters, but I really feel like we can close out this game at this point. I feel like there's got to be more than enough metal out on the map to produce a game winner here. A Ragnarok up on the hills here, for instance, wouldn't be the worst idea. Where's the T2 constructor I can borrow? There we go. Let's see if that's even possible. Let's go for U, X, W. Oh, maybe you can't fit one up there. Maybe. Oh, there we go. Yeah, you can fit one up there. Yeah, put a Ragnarok up on that hill. Start firing into the enemy bases. I bet you'd be in a wonderful position. Although I guess you'd have to invest so much and a commander could just walk on over at 4x the speed. Melting down your facilities. Yeah, you know what? Maybe that's not the way to do it. Maybe the T3 experimental aircraft plant is the right idea here. Could go for some of those epic dragons, some of those epic flying Black Hydra, some of those all-around epic units. Gotta remember you can degun those too, though. It's a little trickier, but you can degun those. Never underestimate the power of a degun. Laboratory coming up now. Looks like somebody's tapped out on the blue team. This game seems stressful. This seems like an extremely stressful type of match to play in. I'm not gonna lie. A couple of kamikaze drones sent across here. Heavy transport's been built. I wonder what we're gonna use that for. Okay, we're gonna pick up some build power and put it over here. Okay, that's cute. Good to see. Here's some longbows. I was wondering if we were gonna see these. Oh no, they're walking through their friendly fire here. That's less than ideal, but not the end of the world. Yeah, those ships are gonna be wonderful for firing away at a whole lot of this. Looks like the air forces are pulled here. This is not sped up. This is 1x game speed. Here come the bombers. Heavy impulse bombers deploying all across the face of this field here. Able to drop their bombs from so far out that they actually connect with basically everything in the line that they were attacking right there. Blowing up a tremendous portion of the economy for the blue team right here, sending them back even further into the Stone Age. And yeah, this is slowly looking worse and worse right now for the blue team. 1.1k metal versus just almost 300. Not looking tremendously inspiring. Oh, the era of the quick shots is now. Here they come. I wonder if sharpshooters can even hit them. They move so quick, I wonder if it's even possible. Oh, Galactic Ascension gets caught. Down goes the commander. Epic Dragon is out, so at the very least we do have a unit to send across the map to do a little bit of counter-aggression here, but we don't really just want to send that in blind. We're definitely going to want some sort of, some sort of way to keep that alive. Fighters come to mind. Nuclear option, also a strong ticket here. Now the blue base, the main blue base has been well protected at this point, but the cursory blue base only got their anti-nuke up just recently. Isn't fully charged yet. Wonder if it's going to be able to charge up quick enough for the nuke to connect over there. Commander gets killed by the Zors that we're pushing across. Okay, interesting to see. Tremors also trying to fire as far as they can. This is looking worse and worse right now for the blue team. Loads of build power back here. Tremendous amount of these T2 construction turrets. They're extremely potent. There we go. Some hounds push in and do a whole bunch more damage to the blue team at this point. Missile boats berating the shoreline right here of the purple player, purple and powder blue player. Very nice. Takes down the Prude. Going to aim for the going to aim for the shield generator next. Oh no, actually switching targets to the fusion reactor. That makes a lot of sense. Epic dragons sent across the map here. With how quick they travel, they can lock onto whatever target you need a whole lot quicker than usual. Now, just like that, down go two commanders. In a finite blast of 30 seconds, those commanders are reduced to atoms here. Flamethrowers of those dragons as well as those heavy cannons putting in significant work against those commanders, and down goes the commanders for the blue team. Not sure if it was the last commander was sniped or they decided to resign, but either way, the red team manages to clutch out a victory here, using some of those super epic dragons out of the T3 gantry. What a wacky match. Let me know what you thought about it down below. I'm always a fan of taking a look at some of these unconventional matches here. Certainly the spawning everywhere thing is quite odd. Maybe, you know, a bit unconventional, well, certainly a bit unconventional, but maybe there's a format to this somewhere. I don't know. Let me know what you think about it down below, and I'll see you in the next Beyond All Reason video. Peace out, folks.